I'm Ethan Kwan, and today I'm going to be showing you, today I'm going to be doing one, a coding challenge, okay? So a coding challenge is basically I have no idea what to do and that kind of thing, so I have to figure out how to make this thing. Of course, I made this before, but now I forgot how to do it, so yeah, okay. Okay, so this is what we're going to do today. We are going to make a simulation of Earth and Mars going around the sun. And it tells you the distance between Earth and Mars, and you can also speed it up. Okay? So also when they get closest, it'll draw a line like this. Like that. Okay, there we go. So this is what we're going to be making today. So this is pretty hard, so bear with me. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to make a new Scratch project. So click Create. And let's just wait for this to load, and yes. Okay. So we have a new blank Scratch project, and so why don't I just okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign in as, I don't know, Funcoder 1, 2, 3, or 5 or something like that. Okay. So now we have this. So first of all, we do not need the cat at all, so we're just going to delete it, okay? Now we need an appropriate backdrop. So we're going to go here and choose a backdrop. So I would normally go to space and click stars here, and you get a nice star background. But also, you can also paint one. This makes it a little bit easier to see. So what I do is I just convert to bitmap, and then make it kind of gray, and then just click the, there we go. Okay. Hello. Oh yeah, no fill. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we have a nice background. Let's just call it gray. Okay, so now this is optional. It doesn't really matter which one you choose, but I like to use both. So I'm gonna drag in a when clicked, switch backdrop to either stars or the first one. So I'm gonna put a pick random 1 to 2. So that'll just flip a coin basically and choose one of the two backdrops. You can also choose a different backdrop if you want, but it'll be kind of hard to see. Okay, just a warning. Okay, so. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make 3 sprites. We are going to make a sprite called Earth, and we have to paint it. So what I do is I normally zoom in all the way until you just see a 2x2 square right here in the middle. And then what I do is I just click the circle tool, make it nice and blue. Too good. Okay. And what I do is I go to this first square's corner and drag it to the last square's corner, like that. And now we have a sizable, pretty good circle. So, let me just get rid of all these dumb, or weird, I guess, tabs. Okay, so we have this. Okay. So now we have to make another one called Mars. So paint one, zoom in again. It has to be smaller than Earth, so I would suggest making it 0.5 pixels or 0.5 boxes. So what I do is I first change the color to a little bit dark red. Now I drag from the center here all the way to the first square. That would be half the size of Earth. And then now I have to drag it into the middle like this. It should snap. There we go. Okay. So now we have 2 sprites. And let me call this one Mars. Okay. Now we need one more sprite. Which one? Can you guess? Well, yes, we're going to need the sun. So you can, this is to scale, this to taste. So you can color it whatever you want. You can also make it whatever size you want. Just don't make it too big. I normally do it by 6 pixel by 6 pixel, or 6 box by 6 box, so like something like that. So now it's centered. Okay, so now we have the sun. What we're going to do is we're going to go into the code quickly, and I'll tell you why we're not using a paint. We're not going to paint it onto the backdrop because it's kind of hard to make it that it's make the sun onto the backdrop and then coat it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to also, okay, if you remember, there was also this line right here. There's this line that connects the Earth to Mars and the sun to Earth, right? So we're going to be making that right now. So this is basically a pen sprite, so we can just grab a thing, zoom in, and basically what we're going to do is we're just going to make a dot right in the middle. And that will basically be our drawer. Let's call it drawer. Okay? Okay. So now we have our drawer. Now, basically what we're going to do is now we are going to put the sun in the center. So we can click the sun, drag in a when flag clicked, go to X, and then put 0 in here, Y, 0 in here. Okay, so now we have this. So now when you click the green flag, it should go to the center. And as you can see, the backdrop changes. Okay, and okay. So the drawer sprite is kind of big, so that I just noticed. So I'm just going to scale it down a little. There we go, much better. Okay, so, yes, so it's about the size of Mars for some reason. How big is it in this? Wow, it's very small. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to actually hide this. So what we're going to do is we are going to drag in a when flag clicked, and okay, let's do this later. So right now, just for testing purposes, let's just put a when flag clicked in Earth. Forever go to mouse pointer. Go to mouse pointer. No, not point towards. Go to mouse pointer. Mouse pointer. Okay, so now it'll just keep going to our mouse pointer, right? Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to, okay, so now we have this. So now what we're going to do is we are going to use the drawer sprite, and we're going to put a when flag clicked, and we need a pen for this. So we're going to just go to here, add extension. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the first step is to obviously take the pen up so that we don't draw anything before the simulation starts. And then we're going to erase all of the drawing from before, okay? So now we're going to set the pen color to it. It doesn't really matter what we set it to. Let's just do it as the color of the sun, just for testing purposes. Like that, okay. So, okay. So we have it as the color of the sun. Now we can hide this so we can get rid of it, basically. So it would be right here, dragging a hide block. Okay, now get a pen. And if I'm talking too fast, then please slow down the video, or either slow down the video or pause the video and try this yourself, okay? And then now we're going to put the pen down, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to drag in a forever block. Forever. And then we're going to basically go to the Earth. Okay? So we'll go to Earth. Right? And then it's going to be duplicate this. And then we're going to go to the sun, let's say. Go to the sun. And then come to Earth again. And then go to Mars. Now, of course, this is kind of like this, so for some reason this is happening. So to fix that, we have to erase all of it. So we have to erase all. Okay, and let me just stop this simulation. Okay, so now should be much more smooth. But now we don't see those. If we remove this erase all block, now it's like this. which is kind of cool too, but we want to just keep redrawing it and then erasing it. So how do we do that? Well, we have to get a custom block. So go to My Blocks, click Make a Block. Let's call this one Draw. Okay, and before you do anything else, please click this Run Without Screen Refresh so it keeps running super fast, basically, okay? Oh, so click OK. Okay, now we are going to drag this section of code into here, and then erase all in here. Now we're going to drag this block in here. Actually, it doesn't really matter what order it is in, but now what we get is this smooth, kind of, animation of basically what we want, like this, right? Okay. So, oops. Okay. So what else do we need? Well, we need to orbit, obviously. So the drawer sprite is complete, but we also need the orbits. The orbits are pretty easy once you figure out how. But anyway, so if you want to make it orbit, what we do is we go to the Earth, I think, yes. So we go to Earth, and here's the script for making it orbit around a parent body. It's kind of complicated, and I don't fully understand it either, but I did some research in front. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this go to mouse pointer. Then we're going to make a variable. Let's first delete this my variable. And then we're going to call it, let's call it direction. Direction. Okay? So, and it's for all sprites. Actually, no, let's make it so that it's only for this sprite. So this sprite only. So direction. Okay. So Earth direction. Okay. Now orbit X. So now we're gonna make a variable called orbit X. Orbit X. Orbit X. And we're gonna make it an orbity. Orbit Y or orbity. Okay. So now we have three variables. What we're going to do is we are going to drag in a direction, set direction to 0 block. Okay. And then we're going to set in a set orbit X to 7. These are the variables that I feel comfortable with. And set orbit Y to 7. Okay. Now we're going to use the pen again. So, okay, so we're just going to put a pen actually, no, we don't need the pen, okay? So what we're just going to do is we're just going to take this here, and now we're going to put in a forever block. We already have one. Okay, so set X to, so now we're going to go to here, and we're going to get a set X to, and then put a set Y to, and then put in a change X by and change Y by, okay? Okay, so these are the blocks we're gonna need. So what we're gonna do is we are going to go to sensing, and we are going to scroll down until we get to this block here. I'm gonna drag it into up here, and then click, okay, sorry, so click here, click sun. So yes, X position of sun, and now I can duplicate this. And now here's Y position of sun, okay? So now we have those blocks. And then it's a change X by. So we already have that. So change X by, and then we're gonna just put in a multiply. And then put in another multiply right here. And then we're going to put a, here's kind of hard notation. So first of all, let's put a 10 in here. Okay, and we can duplicate this into here. Okay, and now we're going to put in a variable called orbit X right there, and orbit Y right there. Okay, so we have those. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put in a sine block, which is kind of hard. Basically, it's trigonometry and that kind of thing. So put it in right here, right there. No, you have to click this and click sine. Sine of direction. And then we can duplicate this. But instead of sine, we're going to do cosine. Okay? So now it just goes there, okay? Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to change the direction. No, not set. Change direction by 1, and I can see it just orbits there. And now we have a great orbit. Now if you want it to be controlled by this variable speed, what you do is we basically just go in, nope, not that one, our thing here, okay, and we basically, as you can see, the line is following it anyway. Now we basically click multiply by, so we just make a variable speed, and you can get rid of these variables. Okay, so it's going to be to make it go faster or slower, we're going to make a new variable called speed. Okay, so where did the speed variable go? Okay. Yep, there's a speed variable. Okay. So hello. Okay. I don't know what's happening. Okay, anyway, so let's just keep it like that for now, okay? Let's just set it to 1.1. So it goes faster, okay? Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to basically just duplicate this if you're lazy. So duplicate this, drag it into Mars, and get rid of this block. Now Mars has it too, but instead of 1.1, we're going to put 0.5, so it goes farther away, and we're also going to put a 15 here. 15. Okay, so now it goes farther away, and one sec. Gotta figure this out. Oh, right. So these variables are only for Earth, so we have to make a new variable. So what we have to do is actually we have to make it again. So we have to redo this whole thing. So we're going to make another variable called direction. So Mars. So we're going to make a new variable called direction. Okay, and it's only for this sprite. Okay, and here we have to also make a variable called orbit x. Orbit x. So only for this sprite. Okay. Oh, okay. I guess we have to. Well, I guess at Mars, orbit x, morbid x. Okay, and then we also have to make a variable called orbit y. Orbit e, because I can't use orbit y again. So I'm just gonna do orbit y. So for Mars, okay. So set Mars direction to 0, set morbid x to 15, set orbit e to 15. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to basically add the same script as before. So forever, and I might speed this up, forever set x to, set y to, set change x by, change y by. Okay, so now we put a X position of sun, duplicate, Y position of sun, multiplied 10, orbitix, morbidix, I guess, sine of direction duplicate this. Now we need orbit E in here instead of morbid X. And here we need a cosine. Okay, there we go. Now we have basically the same script as before. Now we just have to change direction by 0.5 and we are done. We're done. Hello, why isn't it moving? There we go. Okay. So we just have to do that. Okay. So now we have both planets orbiting the sun. So now what we're going to do, we are going to, first of all, make Mars a little bit bigger. Because it's kind of tiny there. There we go. Okay. So now we have Mars and Earth, both orbiting around the sun. How do we get the trails? Well, we have to just go in here and basically make them. So convert to vector, fill 0, outline, and basically we have to try and guess. There we go. Okay. Until you get it right. There we go. Close, close. Though that might be kind of big. Let me just speed this up here. Alright, so that's basically it. You can keep doing it if you want. That's basically all I'm gonna do. Now we have to do the same with Mars. Mars, 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 Mars. Nope, too small. Okay, there we go. So, now we have both orbits. And actually, by the way, we have to just duplicate that and that. So we just have to copy it onto the stars. Same thing with the outer orbit. Copy, paste. Okay, there we go. So now we have this. This is pretty good, actually. If you want to just keep it like this, go ahead. You're done, basically. So, if you just want it like this, go ahead. You're done, basically. Now, if you want the speed variable, what you do is you just drag in a multiply by, like that, and you get speed variable. Where's speed? Speedy. Okay, speed, and times 0.5. Now, of course, speed right now is 0, so we have to show it, make it a slider, change the slider range to 1 to 10. So now we can go anywhere between 1 and 10. Okay, so now we have to do the same thing with Earth. Get rid of that. Okay, so if we do the same thing with Earth, we can just get a multiply. Okay, and multiply by 1.1. So, and then drag in the speed variable. There we go. Okay, so now we have basically a working model, just like what we wanted to do. Now, here's the hard part, the distance. So this is actually the part I struggled on with most struggled on. So don't be frustrated if you don't get it at first, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what the distance formula actually is first. So what we're going to do is we are going to just go into Test UV Sketches. One sec. Let me just get this right. I'm trying to draw here, people. Okay. So, okay. So, of course, the formula is A. This always happens. Okay, never mind. I'll just use a different app. Okay. So let's just use, I don't know, okay. There we go. Nope. Okay, never mind. So, here's the app that I normally use. Okay. So, the distance formula basically says, okay, so here is a right triangle, okay? So the distance between this point and that point is going to be a squared plus b squared equals c squared. This is much easier on paper, okay? Don't judge. Okay, So, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, so, well, if this is a, and this is c, and this is b, what are these values if we're just doing this? Well, here's the x value, and here's the y value, right? No, here's the y value and x. So, let's call this point right here, let's call this point, that point is, x1, 1, comma, y1, okay? So if we call that x1, y1, okay? And let's call this point, let's call this point x2, y2, okay? So if we call this x2, y2, then what is a? Well, it's going to be y2 minus y1, and b is going to be x2 minus y2. If you really want, okay, so if you really want to know why this works, well, then you're gonna have to either comment, just comment on my, in the description below, okay? Okay, so what we're gonna do is we are going to say that the distance between the two objects is gonna be, okay, so we're gonna make a new sprite called, and we're gonna call it calculator, and don't paint anything, okay? So code, so when green flag clicked, and we're gonna make a direction, or distance variable, so distance, okay? So distance right now is 0, so we have to say, okay, so we have to make two new variables. Earth, so it has to be earth y, earth x, okay. We need earth x, we need earth y, we need Mars x, Mars x, and Mars y. Marsy. Marsy. Okay, no. Okay. So we have this. So now we have to say that Earth, so set Earth x, and duplicate this, and say Earth y, earthy, I guess. And then now we have to put the corresponding, corresponding x's and y's. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into motion, and that should be down here. So x position of Earth, okay, and right now you can see it changing. Earth y, okay, so now we have those two variables. Now we have to do the same thing with Mars. So we have to just duplicate this, drag it into Mars, okay. Okay. So now it should be in Mars. There it is. Okay, so now we just have to put that in there. So, and instead of Earth X and Earth Y, we're going to put Mars X, and Mars Y. Marsy, I guess. Okay, so now we have those two variables. So now I can see they're changing rapidly. So that's good. That's what we want, okay? So if you want, you can just like watch this for a little. Okay, so now we're gonna go into calculator, or sprite 1 in this case. We should name it calculator. Calculator. Okay, so when green flag clicked, forever, so forever, this always happens. Okay, so forever, so we have to use the distance formula somehow. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a new variable. Let's just use speed here, but let's just rename it so that it's okay. So that, okay, so that is that. Okay, so whatever, okay, so that variable is going to be basically calculating the root of that, and then we're going to make another variable called let's see, x squared, okay, and we're also going to make a new one called y squared. Now that looks kind of weird, but anyway. So, first of all, we have to first set x squared here. Let's just pause this. Okay, so now and we're gonna just put this as basically x x1 or Earth x minus y1 or Mars x. So Mars x, let's do Mars x first, minus, and then we're gonna square it. Okay, so there's no actual squared function here, so we're just gonna do that. So we have to first put a times here, so subtract Earth x, or actually subtract Mars x from Earth x, like this, okay? And then we're going to duplicate that, and put it in here, so that just squares it, okay? And then now we're just going to duplicate this. Actually, no, let's not do that. Let's just redo it. So set y squared to and then put a times again. So Mars, instead of Mars x minus y x, Earth x, we're gonna put Earth y in there and Mars y in there. Okay, so now we have that. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to duplicate that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add those two together. So that's the job of the Joyce, whatever it's called. So set Joyce Gurgis, something like that. Okay, set that to so plus, and then we're going to put a x squared plus y squared, and then we're going to take the square root of that, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to set distance to x squared, the square root of that, square root of joy whatever. I'm not saying it, okay? Never. Okay, and we should probably do absolute value. So the square root of the absolute value, which basically turns it into a positive value. So the absolute value of whatever this is. Yep, okay? So now we have our distance value. Surprised? Okay, that was pretty fun though, wasn't it? Okay, so we have to just get rid of all these variables. Stop this. Okay, so just get rid of all these variables, including the x squared and y squared, but not the speed. So now this here will calculate the speed and the distance of the two planets. Cool, right? So that is how to calculate distance, basically, for anything. Yes, so, okay, so that's basically what you need to know. If you really want, you can try and make it so that you can make the line. Actually, I can do that right now if you want. Right? That's basically it, though. If that's all that you want to do, you can just stop the video right now and go do something else, okay? Okay. But if you want to get the line, what we have to do is we have to make another sprite. Let's call it line. Yeah, line. Okay. And we stop this so it doesn't lag. Okay. So you can color it anything you want. Just make it about 4 pixels wide, and just do that. Make sure it's a straight line. Okay. So now we have a straight line. And now we're going to just zoom in and draw something. We're just going to set pen to 1. And just, there we go. Okay. So now it should show. Okay. So always, this has to always point toward Earth, okay? So go to Earth. So it's going to be a forever go to Earth. Go to Earth. Where's go? Go to Earth. And then we're going to put a point toward Sun. So point toward Sun. Let's see if this works. Yes, so it works. So actually, let's do a send to back so that we can't see the in the sun. And also, let's move it back a little so that we, yeah. Doop-a-doo. There we go, okay. So, this is not the actual line, but we can just test it out. This is what happens. Of course, we forgot to put a when green flag clicked, so let me just put that in right now. So when green flag clicked, always go there, and now it'll just keep pointing like that, okay? Okay, so now we want it to, whatever they're closest, we want it to draw a line. So what we're going to do is we are going to put a, okay, so we have to just watch this for a second, and let's just speed it up so it goes faster. Okay, so how close does it get ever? So this is just trial and error, so you can try this yourself before I give you the answer. Or basically when the line is pointing toward Mars right now. Oops. Okay, so about 80. Okay, so that means that we have to hide this. So hide. Okay, and we have to so if the distance is less than 80.1, actually let's do 80.01. So if that's less than 80.01, then, so what is it? If distance is less than 80.01, then aren't you just glad that we made that distance? So we have to then show it, and then create a clone of myself, and then hide it. Okay? So now, it will just draw a line whenever they're closest. So let's just wait for this to see if it works. Okay, see, I can see it draws a line, but let's make it so that it draws a line only when it's really close. So let's do 0.7. Okay, so now yes, it draws a line now. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to delete a bunch of clones if there are too many clones. So So we have to make another variable called clones. So, and this will basically keep track of the amount of clones. Okay. So, what we do is we just set clones to 0 at first, and then we have to change clones by 1 whenever we make a clone. And if the amount of clones is greater than, let's say, 10, it'll reset to 0. So we can do that by just doing this. And if we just put a equal to, let's do 11, okay? So if it's equal to 11, we're gonna put a, well, if clones is greater than equal to 11, then set clones to 0, and then delete this clone. So it will delete all the clones, basically. Okay, so now let's see if it works. Yep, so it's the first line. I might speed this up. Second line. There's the third line. Fifth, or fourth, I guess. Keep going, come on, you can do it. Fifth line is about to come any second now. Now, yep, there it is. Just speed this up. Now it's just about to draw the sixth line, like that. Okay, and it's about to draw the seventh line. There we go, there goes the seventh line. Of course you couldn't see it because it's overlapping with another one. There's another one. Here comes the next one. Here comes the next one. And this next one should be able to delete everything. Should delete everything at least. Okay, so ready? Here we, yes, so why didn't it delete the clones? I guess we should broadcast something. Maybe we should broadcast just message 1, and when I receive message 1, delete this clone, and let's just set it to 2 so we can try it out. So 1. Doop-a-doo. Let's see if it works. Should delete all clones. Yep, there we go. Okay, so now it should work. So now we can just set the clones to, I don't know, let's just set it to 6. Oops. Uh, 6. Okay. Or you can set that to any number you want. Okay. So, 0.58. I don't know. Okay. So that is how to make that. And we can actually first get rid of this. Well, we have a lot of variables. We can get rid of the clones variable. And now what we can do is we can name it. Let's call it, I don't know, distance between Earth and Mars. And I'm gonna just do 75% pen. 75% pen. Okay? Okay. So, now we're just gonna share this. And that's basically how to make that. And we can just input, just click green flag. Okay. That's basically all. So, thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe, like, and share the channel with others. This was pretty hard, so thank you for enduring with me. Maybe I'll split this into 2 parts, or I probably should. Okay. Thank you for watching. See you at howtodocomputing.com, and see you next time.